Hi guys, I'm ExactChaos and welcome back to another episode of Workers and Resources Soviet Republic. This is the rise of Cornoe. We are steadily, I think, fixing our money problems. It's not kind of completely rose-colored, but I think in the month of September we had quite a good number, and that's probably due to significant exports. I think that's probably a ship export over there. This month, however, we've done a few imports as well, but I guess it's still a manageable number. We are seeing some electricity shortcomings over here. That building itself, I don't think needs electricity, but there's definitely an electricity supply issue going on here. Let's quickly have a look if we can maybe see it. So we did speak in the last episode about extending our grid, but it wasn't necessarily going to extend in this area. But I think bringing in the resilience is not a bad idea. Not a bad idea. So if we have a look at this, guys. So that one, it's just up this so we can clearly see what's going on. So this one is go underground for a second. No, so no power is coming in from here. So it's kind of heavily loaded going into that direction there. This one is, operating pretty high on its capacity. Yeah, that's still good there. Just wanted to see. So here we are kind of losing out a little bit on power. Now, it's obviously not ideal. So where is our power coming from? Oh, it's it's on fire. That is why. Okay, so no need to worry too much about that. It is a bit of a difficult thing to look at anyway, to try and isolate some issues. Now, one of the first things I quickly want to do is we had some issues in the last episode with these paths, right? So let's just quickly see, where did we have these path issues? I think no, still over here. Still over here we have some path issues. So what I want to do, right? A couple of things. I thought about, right? Let's have a quick look. If we grab this guy, I just want to see. So if we started off with like a gravel path, not that we would necessarily do gravel here, right? So let's go and grab the non-lighted asphalt footpath, and we run it up around the side of the building here because we could do a little pocket park over there. So what I wanted to do, just wanted to do this and say, pay for that and see immediately that works. So I guess maybe our issues has resolved a little bit. So where does this guy end up going? So now we can actually get it to active there. Okay, now the next one I need to kind of fix is, and because we've got some heating problems, so let's quickly get rid of this, get rid of that, and get rid of this, right? And what I'll do is I will pay for getting rid of those because they really, I don't know why we have these major issues here. Okay, so now, if we were to do, say, this, and we were to do, say, that, and we pay for that, is that going to fix itself? I think it is, right? And the other side, okay, so I think it must have been a little bit of a glitch with regards to our pathing system or our footpaths, right? So we don't see the issues here anymore. And now if we have a look at this, yes, we are seeing accessibility from there. Okay, so I guess that issue has been resolved, which is absolutely great. Okay, so so just a restart fixed that. That's no real problems. We are actively trying to produce significant amounts of electronic components and electronics. Mainly we're heading to try and get electronics done because they export a little bit higher. And then was this guy doing an export? No. At the moment, I'll just double check whether we actually have someone that's running an export service from here. So Novograd Rail Exports, for instance, I think is picking up electronics over here, right? Yeah, electronics and electronic components. If it's over 60%, the train can come and export it. So I guess that is what we're after. This area is looking pretty good, very healthy. Ooh, happiness? No, happiness is pretty good. We're usually around 88%. So happiness is really good. Health is good. And we've got a fair bit of unemployed people. So I'm hoping to see significantly more people actually working here, and it is starting to rise. We do need to expand this a little bit more. I did have a comment suggesting that this building, the Leningrad TV tower, is what caused the massive electronic shortage. So let's quickly have a look. If we pop into that, I just want to see what that number was, right? So if it's over here. It's not over here. Where is it? It's then over here, right? Culture, small, radio, TV. Leningrad TV tower is 48 tons of electronic components, whereas the others are tiny little amounts. Television station in general is a tiny little amount of electronic components, where this guy is 48 tons. And at the cost and at the rate we've been producing them, that is a big issue. So it's a very Soviet-esque building where you completely bankrupt your country to build one building. It's very reminiscent of a proper Soviet republic. Okay, so great. I'm glad we figured that out. So hopefully we won't be making that mistake again. Okay, now that's good. I just want to. Oh, and there was another awesome suggestion. And please do keep your suggestions coming. I love the awesome suggestions. It was to make use of cableways to get to all of these places. And I guess from here to there is a no-brainer. But what I was also kind of wondering is, could we connect it all the way over here, right, and run it straight across? And I guess probably not across here. But anyway, let's have a look. I'll pause it for a second again, because it's going to start snowing in just a bit, and I don't want to run into that too much. So if we look at cableways, right, what do we have? We've got a small cableway station and a big cableway station. Now, my issue with cableway stations is it only sends it into one direction. So it'll be a single cableway station in each location. We can't actively add stations along the way, which is not quite realistic, right? So if you would run cableway stations, you could have a station here, a station here, a station here, a station here, and a station there, and it could all you could get in and out like anywhere. Or maybe it's not as complex as that, but you do have at least the option to do an interim station. So I guess that's the issue. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean it won't work if we have station next to station, but it's not the way I would like to get these things to link up together. I don't want people to be transferring from the one to the other. Now, if we did a quick check, I don't think we can run a cableway through here. Potentially, we could run it straight through the middle of this, but I don't necessarily think so. So if we, just as a bit of a look-see, had a cableway station right over here, right? Just want to check. And then we said, what is this? Heavy. Oh, I think that's just the path access. So what is the difference between these? Are they... So if we were to say, let's do that, right? I just want to check. I'm not going to build it. And then if we run it through here, I think it kind of worked. It works. We could run the cableway through there. And then the issue is running the cableway across the river is going to be a problem. Okay, so anyway, we've got that. We know that's an option. And we might leave it there to kind of remind us in the future of it. Now, so I guess the real thing here is we could also run cableway up here. And that's something we will have a look at. Okay, now, what we need to do is find the nuclear fuel fabrication. We've got 4 of them, and we've got uranium conversion plants over here. And so the next big question is then, where do we do our nuclear power plants? And of course, what we can do is we could do multiple nuclear power plants. So what do we have? We've got single reactor, twin reactor, and the Zaporozhye reactor in the Ukraine, which I'm pretty keen on doing. That's about the same as a single reactor. From a pollution perspective, it's the lowest pollution, which makes me think it's the right one to be implementing over here. It's a pretty cool little design. We do need to. It's fairly small. We compare it to the twin. Oh no, it's fairly similar to the twin. Even the single. They're all substantial buildings. How many people works these? I don't think it's a lot, right? 45, 80. Well, 45 plus 23, so it's about 60 people, 68 people. Here we've got about 120, and there we've got 60 people. So this is a little bit more workers. Needs work. Yeah. So I guess this might be the one that we'll build in this location because of its limited pollution. I think it's a more appropriate one to be placed in this kind of location here. Where is our station? Oh, our station is all the way back there. So I'm thinking we need to have it nearby. So if we flip that around, we can have water, sewage. We do need. Okay, so maybe let's flip it around again. I think this might be a slightly better approach here. The game is running. Okay, so if we were to, so let's just switch on this. Yeah, that should be okay. And I'm thinking, yeah, so something like that should be workable if we're building tunnels, right, to get people to get here. So maybe let's place that there as an option. We can do some transformers in this area. What we will need is this. Do we know how much cooling capacity we need, or is a single like? I don't think these things have capacities, right? I mean, this is the pollution it produces, right? So why would you? So if we can I figure out cooling, right? So if we have a look at this, right? This is saying, is it saying anything about cooling? Consumption at maximum production, is it the nuclear fuel? It requires water quality of 60%, which is pretty easy for us to get. We can do our own water here. Daily water consumption, yes, fine. Max power consumption per day, interesting. Max wattage circuit breaker. Stations for heavy vehicle loading is 4. Heavy rad protected import is 3 tons, which is fine. Nuclear waste export protected is 3 tons, which is fine. We've got room for the container export. We've got a water tank, a sewage tank, and a big garbage container. But it doesn't say anything about cooling, right? How much cooling it does. So presumably, we can just do... So can we just do the one that is... Oh, this is where the pollution comes from, really. But it's exactly the same. So we could build either one, right? Steel. So let's try this one. This one seems to be the logical option. And what we'll do is we'll turn it a little bit. We'll flip it. And we'll turn it like that. Okay. So this is the plan, right? We could run it like this. That should give us everything we need over here in terms of the cooling plant. Okay, so if we do that, that's okay. Then I can actually connect these up, the big cooling pipes. We can effectively just run it. Oh, it's well, let's start it straight, and then we'll go it like that. We'll start it straight like this. Oh, it's obviously a square building. Guys, obviously a square building. So let's do that so we can actually wrap it around a little bit more. So we'll do something like this. We'll do something like that. And we'll run it up to about here somewhere. And we'll, oh, it's a little bit close. Trim it back a little bit more. Try it again. Let's trim it back a bit more. I want to get it a little bit closer, so it's a slightly similar in terms of that. Yeah. So something like that. That's going to be our cooling stuff. So what we'll do is we'll say, yeah, go ahead, build it. What did we mean? Batch for it's this one. Start. There we go. So there we go. So now the cooling tower is in. From here, we will need some level of road access in a few different locations. So we could run a road up this way, right? quite comfortably we'll be able to run a road here. So let's do that. We'll run ourselves a road, well, in between here. Right, that seems a logical one. We'll keep running it straight a little bit like this, and then we'll kind of turn it back onto itself like so. I guess that should give us reasonable access points. And what we'll do is we'll just to run it like that in that straight direction, right? I want to try and keep it pretty straight here. And then we tie it in like this, and it could actively be the road that runs straight through the middle here. And then we turn it. Oh, that's under construction. So let's not mess with the roads that's actively under construction. What we'll do is we'll continue to run this road up here, and then ultimately we're suggesting we're tying in over here, which I guess once we move this is where we will also tie in this road, right? So we'll run this one down here. We'll trim this back a little bit and go around that corner there. Beautiful, like so. We'll actively have to do this. Right, so we'll do that. We'll run it straight in here, and that'll give us the loop to go back to that direction. That gives us access to all of these guys. It gives us access there and access there, and it can also give us access right over here. Fire stations. This is a fire station, right? Yeah, so that's the fire station. So that could get here pretty quickly via an intersection right over there. Okay, so I'm quite comfortable with that. So let's start the construction on that, and that gives us all of these kind of different things. I just wanted to check if we go back, looking at the nuclear industry. Ooh, look at that money! Look at that money. That is beautiful. Can we quickly have a look at the exports for November? Because I think that means, so this month, please, for November, which is only 6 days in, we'll look at our exports. Look at those exports. Electronic components, 3.5 million for a nice big stack of electronic components. There we go. Now things are starting to look way, way better. Okay, beautiful. I love that. We can still expand some stuff over here. We need to have a look at how we're going to bring people into this area. I'm kind of thinking I need to move this thing. All right, so can we quickly have a look at vehicle depots? To see our electronic components moving out. Now we're in a point. Do we have, hang on. Let's have a quick look. Do we have an extra train? We have multiple trains ready to go. So give me an extra train. And what we'll do is we'll assign it to the exports, right? We only have the one there. So let's grab me this extra train, and you are heading over to exports, right? And hopefully that means we can get things to maneuver a little bit more. Beautiful. This is starting to look pretty good now. Over here we are building tons of stuff ready to go. Ready for swapping out and so on. So that's pretty cool as well. I'll drop that one again. Ooh, this is constructing quite nicely. How's our tunnel? Are we working on our tunnel yet? Oh, the tunnel is all the way over here. Yeah, we are. Oh, I love it. Okay, so this is coming along nicely. I think we're not going to probably do the... We'll see about the cableway. All of this stuff is actively underway. Okay, beautiful. So that's the planning there. Now, what we will need here is we will need... Oh, I wanted to have a quick look before I forget. So advanced industries, right? Nuclear uranium conversion. It has storage. No, not that one. The nuclear fuel fabrication. It has only room for about 2 tons? No, can't be. Heavy rad protected. And I guess then it's unprotected? I do wonder. I mean, 2 tons is quite a lot considering how little we use. But if I were to have a quick look at factory connections, just give me a quick look. Okay, So we can see we actively have factory connections here. So we could potentially, and then in that case, we may want to run the road on the other side so we can squeeze these two together over here. I guess that might be a thing, right? So if we said we wanted to do some extra storage, right? These are all fuel fabrications, right? They're all fuel fabrications. So I think we might want to run the road on the other side, just so that we could potentially squeeze something in there. So if we wanted to come here and say open storage for vehicles, right? We want a small, that's a large one. A large, a small. So we can grab a small, right? Quite comfortably, a small can squeeze in there. And the small gives us room for what? 118. So that gives us quite a fair bit more room. So potentially we just do a small in here. We could potentially squeeze, well, not the big one, but we could do the large. I don't know. We could do the large one. But this is unprotected, right? So we wouldn't necessarily want to do this, right? We wouldn't necessarily want to do this. I'm not sure if we want to do this. But, I mean, it wouldn't hurt to have it, right? There, and then one. This one might be a little bit trickier. Okay, but let's do that. Oh, look at that. Money. Guys, look at that. We are making big bucks now. I'm loving it. So now, actually, we've kind of finally got it to get to where we want it to be. Okay, so now, instead of going that way, we'll go this way. Instead of ending here, we will go around. All right, so what we might have to do is we might have to give it a little bit of a whirl around the end there. Like so, and then we come basically straight down here. Something like that. We tie this one in there and we make that. So now we could get the other one in here. So let's quickly do that. I'm going to grab the storage for vehicles, right? So that one there. Quite comfortably squeeze it in. We'll do it. I don't think it'll squeeze in as comfortably over here, would it? Well, it's so close to working. So close to working. So what I'll do is I'll demolish this one, clear that one out, and we'll just bring in another, right? And we'll just move it slightly further away. If we rotate it so that it's like that, right? Give it a little bit more room. Did we want to flip it? Yeah, I think we did want to flip it. Right? So we'll put it in here with a little bit more room. Is that... I think that's about the same alignment, okay? And then we just grab the vehicle storage yet again, right? Grab this vehicle. That is the vehicle storage, right? Yeah. And now we should be able to comfortably squeeze it in here. Oh, yeah, it's like we made the space for it. So we'll do that, just so we have the extra room there. Now, we could store both the inputs and the outputs in those same ones, right? That's the brilliance of well, but that's what it is basically. Okay, so that gives us our setup, right? So keep going. So that gives us a setup. Now, what we will also need to do from here is we need tons of extensions of the grid. So let's have a look at transformers. Heavy, medium. No. We want the high voltage stuff. And I'm kind of... So we've got these switches, like these in-game switches. And we've got like priority ones, right? I'm kind of... I've never quite got this to sort itself out. So we can run some cabling down here. Now, splitting... I'm not sure this is what we want to do, right? Let's have a quick look. So if we said, right, we want, so how much are we actively generating? We had something like, let's just double check that. We've got 5850, which I believe I can never kind of remember this. I always have to do the calculation. 5850, is it divided by 60? Yeah, 97. Yeah. I think it's 97? 197. Oh, and I think that's what it says here, right? It says the maximum output is 97 megawatts. Okay. So 97, where any one of these can pass through 18 megawatts, I believe. So 18, okay, so 97 divided by 97, yes, then divided by 18 gives us 5.5. So if we're still using the smaller ones, we can use all 5 of those. Okay, so it's actually planned pretty nicely, right? So what I'm thinking, yeah, I guess we'll use these, right? I guess we'll use these and see if we don't necessarily have to do one way or another. But so the plan is, right, if we do 5 of them, I'm going to try and get them quite close to one another there, right? So we'll do that one, and then we'll flip it around, and we'll do, say, this one. And then we'll flip it around, and now this can be very tight to the other one because of where, yeah, so let's get it as tight as possible. Okay, and then we'll flip it around again. We can get a bit of a road in there. And we'll flip it around one more time and get that nice and tight to there. So now that's basically giving us all of these things. So let's quickly check that we can get our roads in here. So the idea is we do this, and we do road connections to them. And it would also mean that you can run roads straight through here in case you wanted to do something on the other side. And I guess this one just does, something like that, right? So if we wanted to do that, we'll get an extra road to run straight down that way, and we've got the road connections through there. We're not actively building any of this, so I'm comfortable to kind of tie them in, get all of that going. So now we've got that going, right? So now the question is, if we wanted to have a bit of a look at the big ticket items here, the 18 megawatt options, right? I guess we did this, we did that, and we ran it in there. Okay. So the idea with this is that we would want to potentially prioritize the direction of travel, right? Yeah, this is a little awkward here. And I kind of, it's a bit of a mess, to be honest, right? So I'm not a big fan of that, right? So I'm not going to do that. But here we can only go up to 12. So we kind of have to do that. If we're going to run 5 18 megawatts, they're going to have to look absolutely crazy like this. Okay. Okay. And so now the idea on this side is, so let's get that going. This will be a bit of a mess. I would have liked to have that a little cleaner than this, but it is what it is. We're gonna live with it like that. The idea is now that logistically we want to be able to spread it into different areas. We've had a bit of the imports will go up to about, I guess not actually up to about 5 million, but about 4 million or so. So yeah, we're pretty much, well, probably going to go up a little bit higher, but we're going to continue to export as well. Okay, so that's good. Let's now the idea here is that we want further high voltage splitters, right? So the idea is that now we want to be able to prioritize one versus the other potentially. So if we were to say do one there and one here, Ooh. So if we had a look at this, oh, I see. It's getting a little out of hand. And we're going to have some issues with the road here also. Anyway, so but I guess this is the... We don't have to put it all the way there. We can move it. Well, we wanted to... Okay, give me this guy. Let me just level this terrain here just a tad. To give us a little bit more room right in front of this. Oh, am I? I'm not. I leveling. No, I am. Okay, so let's level from the center here. And just push it. Yeah. I was just messing around a bit, I think. Let's do that. Give ourselves a little bit more room. It doesn't have to be perfect yet. Just give ourselves a tad bit more space around there. Okay, beautiful. So that's fine. We'll leave it like that. Now let's go back. Try those things again. We'll switch these off for a second while we go back and just say, so the plan is now, is this, I don't know. It's people have made all kinds of awesome things here. If we did this one there and that one there, right? And now we don't necessarily need to run 18s all the time. Now the question is, do we keep staggering them? I think we will have to, right? I think the idea is for it to do this. Yeah, so the idea is for it to do this. Those are really tight. If we kind of gave ourselves a little bit of room this way, a little bit of room there, and a little bit of room there, should be able to kind of run. I guess what I want to do is just move these two over a little bit so that we can have a slightly bit more room here. Yeah, I think that's going to be just fine. Okay, so we'll do that. Okay, and then I think the idea is that we'll run a road down here and down there to provide all of this with some access. Right? Do that, and they will all get access, right? Like this. That's lots of little slithers, and we don't necessarily need all of these roads to be asphalt. But if they're not asphalt, it means that we end up with a lot more driving distance. So now we can prioritize where things go. But we've got basically a massive transformer built over here, a manual transformer, so we can prioritize which of the routes are getting what level of power. So I guess that's the plan. Now, the idea would be that we would need to kind of run in this way. And I think this is where it will go underground, basically, and will basically drop to 12 megawatts. So basically what it's going to do is we're going to have 18 into 12 and 12, so basically 24. So we'll prioritize one versus the other, depending on obviously what the situation is. And I guess that just gives us that extra flexibility. But a lot of stuff in there. Whoa, look at that. Look at that. Just pause it for a second. November has been absolutely gangbusters with regards to exports. So if we just go back, let me just see. What does this look like? There you go. We haven't exported any further electronic components, but we got a massive shipment of electronics out, which has already made such a major difference in our financial situation. So I think just by virtue of doing what we've done there, we're in a way healthier position. We went from near ruin to a situation where it's actually working for us. Now, I think the idea would be that we'll go in from about the center area here. And all of these can run a 12 megawatt. So we'll run, so it's maybe this one, maybe over here. So if I just want to have a quick look. Maybe I hope I'm not messing stuff up here. So let me quickly have a look. If I grab the underground cables, right? So let's just say, so they're now, if I were to try and run this thing here, right? So go underground, and they're a little bit potentially too close, right? So if we were to say run one there, and yeah, so they kind of mess each other up a little bit. So let's quickly try something. If I did, let's start it off on this side, right? We say let's go straight that way, and then if we're running the next one, did that, and then did that, and then if we did no, don't snap there. Go F4. Still wants to do that, right? Can't we do multiple lines next to each other? Let's go F4 again. There we go. So we can do it over there. Yeah, it's not ideal. It's not ideal. So I'm kind of wondering, do we turn them out and into this area? I think that's probably the way we're going to do it. So let's go down here. There are these rakes and stuff, I think, but I'm a little cautious. I don't want to necessarily use those rakes because I think they only get 18 megawatts through them. And what we want to do is we want massive potential capacity here. So the plan is now, so let's go and say, if we're going to run it over here instead, right? And we don't necessarily need to run in all directions, right? So if we just said maybe 3 of them, and we did say that, and we did say, oh, there we go. This doesn't even want to work. How come? Okay, there it's working, and we did this, and then this one. Come on. Oh, well, we can extend it there, and then we could go. Come on, not what I wanted to do. Auto save. Get rid of those. Try it again. Here comes the snow. We should be able to do something like this and then tie that in there, right? So there we go. So that actually will work. And then we can run potentially, say, from this side to the other side. So that gives us lots of capacity, like lots of power can go into that direction. And then let us find the spot that we want to quickly come through on this side. Okay, so we're underground. We're not paused. We've got tons of money. The snow has started. We'll keep it going so that we can get to the end of the snow. Actually, to be honest, let's speed things up a little bit while we do this planning. I just want to have a quick look. Where did we want to tie this off of? We've got a setup here. So let's just go back to the source, right? So we want to say, grab our network that's coming in through here, coming in through there. That's then, it's all kind of drips and drabs. That one is tying some stuff in there. This one is then running up here, and then it's going out this way. And I guess, so what we'll do is instead of doing anything else, we'll just kind of run it straight through the middle here somewhere. Okay. So in order to do that, what we will need to do is add a couple of extra of these guys along the way. So let's switch on this as well so we can kind of see. So we were expecting to run through here. We will need power to power all of these guys, right? So let's do one over that way. We'll come down the hill and do one over here in case we wanted to add some to it. And then we've got a road coming through this way. And where are we trying to head to? All the way through here, right? So the plan would be, and this is where we're going to start running into a little bit of trouble. So we'll go in maybe something like this, I think. And then we want to be... Yes, in this area. I don't know. This might be a very bad idea to have some power option over here. And then we're basically coming in to tie in over here. And I guess we don't need anything other than what we've got there already. Okay, got a train waiting too long. Let's just double check that. Get rid of this, get rid of that. That is not a problem. You are quite comfortable to be doing that one. Okay, so we are doing a little something funny over here. But anyway, let's bring our power. I'm going to be ending the episode fairly soon. So where were we? We were at over here, right? At the moment, did we want any extra? Okay. I guess what we do want to do is we also want to be doing this just in case, right? We'll do that. And the plan would be that from here, we would run there. So we could still split it if we needed to. And then we go up and in there as straight as possible. And we go down and into there as straight as possible. And this will be quite expensive, so we won't be paying for it. We'd just be running it. We'd just be slowly building it. We don't need it just yet. And we'll go underneath over there. And then the final one is we want to tie into one of these, which will then also, of course, tie into something else. So I'm guessing the plan for me, I think, is something like we'll pop up here and we'll tie that one in there, right? So that gives us a link back up to that grid. So we can pump power back from the nuclear power plant into that grid so that we could potentially reduce the burden on this one from the Sasselgrad refinery area. And go in from there. Okay, I guess that is the kind of plan in a nutshell. What I'll do is I will start the planned construction. Not that we will be, constructing anything just yet, but I guess that is generally speaking the plan. Okay, terrain is not too bad. All of these guys are in place. We've got the nuclear power plant planned in. What we don't have, let's have a quick look at it, is we don't have the pedestrian pathways here that we may need. As it stands, we don't have... Oh, we do have the tunnel access. Okay, so what we will do is we'll be running some tunnel access out into this general area. These guys should be able to get what they need in terms of accessibility over here, right? So we should be able to get people pathed out on this way, unless we just go and say, well, we're doing this anyway. We may as well, find a few spots where people can get out, right? So we'll do. So let's just plan it out. So we want people to be heading out in this general direction. So we might want to try and get that back a little bit more. We want to keep it pretty straight, right? So if we were to say do that, I think we may find this workable. This one, okay, we'll just get it over there though. Yeah, we may have to run a completely separate tunnel for this one. So what we'll do is we'll basically do it over here. So tunnel, tunnel, tunnel. Give me the tunnel connections. No. Give me the tunnel connections. We'll tunnel these together. Right, like so. What we don't potentially have. Okay, so let's quickly demolish this one. I basically lose the tunnels. It doesn't lose the tunnels. Interesting. Quickly do that. So if I drop the tunnel there and we drop the tunnel there and we go with with this option to go out into that direction. So we'll put it pretty tight over here. That should be able to get people to come to all of these. Question is, do we get them to get to these? We could maybe just run an extra path around that way. That could work. Okay, so let's try that. I just want to check if this all works. So we go there. We go there, right? And we also need to potentially just go out here and there. Okay, maybe we'll just do that. Just do extra tunnels. All right, so if we said we needed these guys to have access, yeah, it means that the tunnel needs to go in here somewhere to be able to give these guys the access that they need. I was hoping. Yeah. Let's do that. And then we kind of pop it out right over there. Right? So that's kind of the plan. So if we then put the tunnels in place, grab me the tunnel. So that works. And then this works. And then I just wanted to, if we grabbed the road connection there and do that, right? And then this guy over there. And then this guy in here. Guy. Oh, this is not working. Oh, no, it's already tied in. Okay, beautiful. I think it's already tied in. Yeah, already tied in. So that should work. And then what we'll also do is we'll tie this one in. I just want to do a quick double sense check of where these guys can go. Oh, can definitely get to... Can't get to this one? Can't get to it. Okay. That is interesting then. That is very interesting. So. Let's quickly... anyway, we'll come back to that in the next episode where we'll have to just get that one. But I just want to check. So the rest works though, right? Broadly speaking, I think they should. But it's a little tight. It's a little tight. We'll double check that in the next episode. Guys, thank you so much for watching. If you've enjoyed it, please hit that like button. As always, leave your comments. Tell me some naming suggestions and other things that you would like us to see here. But I guess this is pretty good. And I think the added complexity of the cableway might be a good idea here. Okay, lots of little things, but happy to report that money is absolutely brilliant. Look at that month of November, almost 6 million in profit. And we're heading straight into that direction again in the month of December. In the next episode, we will continue the planning over here and probably add a few more people to our canal district. Now things are looking pretty good. In the middle of winter, dropped a little bit with happiness, but still looking awesome. Guys, thank you so much for watching. See you next time. Bye-bye.